Supposedly a new era, the Stellini era. After what I saw the other day, it's the same old. Conte 2.0, Diet Conte as they like to call him now. Stellini in charge, no difference. Spurs still doing Spurs. We're here to talk about it, talking points, and here we go. Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Talking Points, episode number 88. I can't remember what it's called now. Something about Stellini in charge. Can you get top four? I was just being facetious. He can't get top four. But he's going to give it a go. Let's see what can happen. I'm joined in the house by my esteemed, lovely, wonderful sidekick. I don't want to call it sidekick. Not a sidekick. My co-star. Oh, hello. We've got somebody else trying to join. We've got another one trying to join the back. Please have everybody welcome back to the stream. And we're also joined by the one and only. Here we go. Hopefully the stream's okay for you, Sid. Yes? No?
I don't know.
Well, you seem we can hear you, but you just are a little bit frozen at times. But we're going to try. If you have to come off, mate, don't worry about it. We'll continue on as per usual. Right. I'm trying to find the bloody... What's it called to put up to show people what we're talking about today? Oh, it's in the background. It's the wrong one. This is live. This is live. Anyway, let me do this whilst we're talking. Here we go. Live. No. It's not too bad. We're going to get this. Sid, we can hear you, but like I said, if you need to go, mate, not a problem. Me and Pav will take care of this because it needs taking care of. Fine. Here we go. There we go. Al Stellini gets top four. Pav, we haven't seen you for a little while. Probably a good thing because you've had to be on. Well, sorry, you've not had to be on some of these reaction shows that we have to do. The fact is we haven't lost the last two league games, but it feels like we have Southampton and then obviously the Everton saga. In between that, we've lost the manager. just absolute craziness which has been going off at Spurs. Now we have Stellini in charge. Stellini came back in his press conference saying things such as, we're gonna make possibly, I'm surmising here, tactical changes. We're not afraid of doing that. Mason, we know, is in there, Ryan Mason. And then we saw Everton performance. Now, don't get me wrong, it was okay. It wasn't the best game in the world, but once they got a player sent off, we got the goal. It should have been easy street. Instead, it was even harder than I'd seen us perform in games where we've got 11, where it's 11 against 11. The 10 men of Everton absolutely bossed the last 30 minutes of the game and deservedly got the equaliser. But what changes were being made? Sanchez coming on left centre back. Lucas Moura, who's been on the beach for the last X amount of months, decides to come in and just kick somebody, literally just trying to break their ankle. And he said, I didn't mean to do it. But if he didn't mean to do it, just don't make that tackle. We're in the whatever minute was in the game. He doesn't need to make that tackle, but he's just brain dead football. And yeah, you've missed a lot, but you've probably seen a lot. What is Stellini's? What do you think he's going to get out of this season? Because he's number 2. He said he's different personality, blah, 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 his own man. But I saw that game against Everton. It was Conte 2.0.
I completely agree with you. I just think I said this on a rant on Twitter. He's going to do the same thing as Conte. He was his assistant. Like they share the same thoughts. Okay, they work together for a reason. He ain't going to change. We saw it with the Everton game. Like, come on. Like, how did we go 1-0 up, down to 10 men, and we still drew? I won't know. I just don't see this whole thing of, when he's saying, we've got 10 finals there. No, 10 finals. Oh, you're not treating it as a final. It's not a final. You're not treating it as a final. You don't draw against Everton. You just don't. And
not in that situation, Pav. Not in the situation where they've had one of their best players, Decore, sent off 66 minutes. We score, and all we've got to do is literally score another goal, and the game's over. And with 10 men, we should have done that.
Yeah, we should have. And then Lucas Moura making that silly challenge to get him sent off as well. But it's like you said, they were down to 10 men. We should have dominated them. We should have taken that and, fought so hard. But what we done instead, second half, we were like, oh, do you know what? It's fine. We got the goal. We're going to win. It's fine. And like we always do, we sit back and we just relax. We're too stubborn. We're just like, yeah, it's fine. We're going to win this. And instead, what do? They draw. They draw.
What is this about this sitting back thing? Because again, it's been so many mixed messages about that. Are the players told to do that? Are the players doing that themselves? Now, I clearly think the players are being told to do it, because in any normal football match that I played, if you've gone down to 10 men, you usually think to yourself, we've got the advantage here. We should win this game if we apply ourselves. Now, normal pro footballers would take that and probably go forward and try and get a second goal. But as soon as we got the penalty and we literally went back into this 5-4-1 shape, and I couldn't believe it. Porro was been attacking. We'd had some attacks down the left-hand side from Perisic as well. Again, we weren't the best. I don't say there was a couple of good crosses Perisic put in, don't get me wrong. But again, not looking at them thinking, oh yeah, this is a worldy performance. But we were in control of the game. And to do that, I just thought it must be down to the coaching staff. But then I don't know. I don't actually know, because Son hasn't been playing well for a while now, and he could have been taken off for a long time. He didn't even have to start. But surely these players can take some responsibility of their own, Pav.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's both down to coach and the players. Sometimes I genuinely think that the players are just like, whatever, do you know what, let's do our own thing. And I think it's all down to communication. I said this from the start as well. If you look at how we're playing, the team does not have communication between them. That's why it's so out of sync. That's why they're playing the way they do, because the communication is poor. I just think that definitely Stellini said, and he's using Conte's tactics again, is to sit back and then counter-attack. It doesn't work with us. We don't have the players. It's as simple as that. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I'm not sure if it's my side, but you've got a slight delay on your stream, but it's all right. We're going to continue. We'll try on. And if we have to end early, we end early, because, as I said, I'm done with talking about Spurs for too long. But Conte opened up Conte opened up the can of worms. He pulled back the carpet. He said what he said. I was expecting the players, after that sort of, literally they were torn a new one by Conte pretty much. Everybody got it. He was shooting after everybody. And got on the first run air flight out of Dodge. Didn't even pick up his clothing, just went. Has he been proven right? Because the mentality, I've always made this argument. Until we get this mentality right, and the only way to get that mentality right in terms of a winning mentality is to win something. Now, all this talk about, the Carabao Cup for some managers is not good enough. The Carabao Cup, top four is a priority. Well, yeah. How many times have we been in the top four and won the Champions League? Not many. In fact, none. And one Champions League final. So, yes, I understand the financial thing. And then going into that more, it is the finance side of things. But what do you want from the rest of this season now? Do you want to get us into the top four, or are you not bothered? Do you want this to be a complete rebuild, burn it down? What do you want to see from the rest of this season, Pat?
I think for me, for the rest of the season, we do need to get the top four. That's the only thing that we can achieve now. Cups are out of the window. Winning anything is out of the window. Let's achieve that top four and wait till the new manager, depending on who it is, whoever it is, and we need to start from the beginning again. Get rid of the deadwood. Bring in these players. Change the formation. Change the tactics. None of this whole rubbish tactics that have been going on. Boring football. Okay, it's hard to watch these guys. It's definitely hard. And I think it's about time something changes. But how many times are we saying this? It's a repetition. Change. Nothing changes. It's the same thing over and over again. And it's ridiculous. And I think the only thing that we can look to now is the top four. And yeah, they are, to be honest, I don't think that they are going to get the top four. but it's worth having that mentality and the players having the mentality. We can still achieve top 4.
Sid, are you there or are you having problems? Sorry, pal. Just trying to see if Sid.
I'm
okay,
right? I think.
Oh, you seem okay. You're moving nice and slowly, not like that anymore. So that's
moving
cool.
like
That's
Sanchez.
A good start.
Oh God.
There's no need for that, Sid, at all, man. There's no need. I'm still having nightmares about that substitution.
Oh,
what on earth goes on in the mind? This is what I'm saying about this Stellini thing. It's got to be. It has to. Surely, it's a mistake making him the face in number 2, or sorry, number 1 now. I don't understand. If they're going to keep him in charge, or sorry, keep him in the fold, why not make Ryan Mason the face? Because at least Ryan Mason would be able to say, I'm my own man. I haven't been working under Conte for X amount of years. This Stellini, when he said, oh, I'm my own man, he looked like a scared kid, like he wasn't supposed to say that. And that to me tells me he's so, not to say under the thumb of Conte, but certainly his whole ideas. The number 2s are number 2s for a reason. That's why they're number 2s. Unless they have real designs to be number 1s, they usually stay number 2s. We've got some, obviously, we've seen people that learn from others and then go on to be big managers. One up the road is a prime example. People like Brendan Rodgers has worked with Jose and has gone on to be arguably a decent coach. But Stellini, I've not heard anything. I've not seen or looked at him and thought to myself, this guy wants to be a number 1. So why keep him? Why keep him? Do you think it's just financial?
Who's that aimed at?
Anyway, that was the bloody answer.
Listen, this is gonna. I don't care how people make this one out. Right, your number 1s, right? We've got number 1 who was piss poor. Yeah. If you get the punt, number 1, piss poor. Number 2 is supposed to be the number 2, but our number 2 is shit. And number 2 refers to what? Right? So we've had number 1s and number 2s. So at the moment, when they say we're going for number 1, number 2, you know what? We've got both of them. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you sack a manager, you come as a package with your team. Your team. You bring them in. You handpick that coaching staff. They're your team. If you're not working, you get sacked, then the team should go. 1 for all and all for one. Why have they kept them lot in place? I don't understand that, because if you're the players, you've just got rid of the manager because you stopped playing for him. But then you still got to deal with his number 2 and the rest of the team. It wasn't working when they were there under Conte, so why have they kept him? And to give him, like you said, Sam, to give him the job for the last 10 games and make him the face, you know what I mean? You've already got Son, the face of Calvin Klein, and he's shot to pieces. Now you've got Stellini, the face of Tottenham. It's just a shit. Number 1.
Stuart, that's a great comment. Number 1s and number 2s. Are we talking about managers? Well, yes, we are, but they do relate to number 1s and number 2s in that sense. Because I agree with you. The number 2s at the moment are shit. Yeah. The thing is, I can understand the number 2s being slightly different. I've talked about this before. When you've got a team of a really aggressive type manager, very highly passionate, blah, 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 usually you have a good cop, bad cop scenario. And I said this before, the good cop being the number 2, because he's the one that goes around, maybe puts the arm around the shoulders of players and says, don't worry about it. The boss is having a bit of a go tonight. He's had a bit of a mare. You know what I mean? Last night wasn't great. So don't worry about it. And then he'll be the one that goes around and maybe G's up players sometimes and literally kind of, you know, does the unsung things. The number 1 is the one who takes all the responsibility, takes all the flat. The number 2's in the background. If he says something to the boss, he's not going to get into the press conference and get lambasted by it. He's just going to be, well, you know what I mean, in the background. Now he's in the foreground. He's got to make decisions. He's got to talk a good game. He's got to say this. I know that he did this for a few games when he was in charge before, but he always knew that Conte was there. He always had Conte to, yeah, WhatsApp. Okay, I'll say that, boss. And he's gone back in the press conference, and I've seen it. People said something to him, and he's almost like, this is my answer, I'm going to say, and he says it. Now, he ain't got that Conte sort of backup. he's got Ryan Mason, or he's got whoever else is in that backroom staff. And this is what I don't understand. What is he going to say that's any different unless he does something completely different? And what we've seen the other day is no different. So what is going to change? Pav, what's going to change?
Nothing. Nothing's going to change. It's as simple as that. You were working with Conte. We saw it in the Everton game. What Levy's done is Levy's appointed Stellini based on previous results when Stellini was, in charge while Conte was doing whatever. And seen we've won, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't see the game against Sheffield United. Yeah, Sheffield United with us losing and getting out of the FA Cup. You didn't see that, did you? But you're taking into consideration everything else. Now Conte's not there to tell Stellini. Stellini's still going to have at the back of his mind what Conte has done and take that on board. We've seen it with the Everton game. I don't see anything changing. If you tell me with the next couple of games that we've got that if something's going to change, I'll be shocked. I just don't see it changing.
And the thing is as well, he came out and we done the preview show, remember? And I put them statements that he said, I want them to play the way I want them to play. I want them to go and attack. I want them to play, do things. They did none of that. No. None of that was done. So was he just saying things just because he wanted to look good, or did he have this already pre-planned? Because nothing's changed and nothing's going to change. If he's going to stay in charge the next 10 games, nothing is going to change.
I keep saying this. This is now a situation where, because we've seen it before, we've seen managers leave and then there's been interim managers, no real number one, and they brought in whoever it is. We've seen this situation a number of times in the Premier League, all over the world, in fact. So it's not something that's unique. It's not something that we should be, oh my God. And we've seen it a number of times ourselves. The difference at this situation, though, is Stellini's clearly a Conte man. Nobody can tell me anything else. And when he was asked the question, are you planning to stay here longer? Are you for the number one job? He had a stock answer in his head. I'm not looking any further than this next game, and what happens in the summer happens in the summer. That tells me I'm not staying. Because, he didn't even entertain the thought, well, let's see how we go. Let's see how I'm going to play. I'm not going to make, you know what I mean? It was almost like, we're going to take this game by game. That's a stock answer. As soon as the last game is played this season, he's on the next flight out with Ryanair, and he'll probably go and join Conte in Italy and have a nice glass of wine and said, you know what, them lot down there, ooh, I can't wait, because it don't look like he really wants it. He's if you're applying for a job, yeah, and you want that job, you usually put your best. You sit up in interviews, you're smiling, you just don't. You've got to appear like you're you don't look like it. How are we gonna get this guy? Not us, but I'm just saying as a question. How is this guy gonna pick the players up now to win or at least perform in these next 9 games, Pav? How can you do it?
Yes, I personally think it's down to the players now, because I don't know what Stellini's going to say for them. All I can see is, you've got treat these games as finals or whatever, but they're not doing it. It's all about the mentality, and you have to go in with a winning mentality. And if you're not going in and you're just like, oh, do you know what? Look at this season. The season's been rubbish. We're not going to win this anyway. You're not going to win. With the way that they're playing, they look tired on the pitch. They look bored on the pitch. They don't look like they want to win. They show no desire whatsoever to win. They're playing to lose. That's what it is. They're playing on the pitch to lose. If you wanted to win, you'd show you'd want to win. You'd show that aggression. You'd show the mentality, the positive mentality that you're going to go out on the pitch and you're going to give it your all. But none of them are doing it. No one is.
So what do we have to look forward to? Are we just gonna? Because as I said, I keep saying I don't want top 4 to be a thing that we just go for to make the money to then not compete But then I'm thinking to myself, if we don't get top 4, we get into if we get into Europa League, I think that'll be a decent season for us in terms of after the calamity. If we fall outside of Europe completely, it's even proven difficult to get managers now. It's proved difficult to get players in terms of the right players. We can get players, but we don't seem to get the right players. It's going to be even harder to get the right players I'm up for just getting someone in, and I said this on the stream before, getting in someone like a Vincent Kompany and allowing him to get young players in and develop them, to whip them into shape, not to have egos and players that can't take the a bit of a shout. What's the next type of manager you see, Sid?
Right, listen, you know what? And just before I say what type of manager, right? At the moment, you were saying about what Stellini got to do. How's he going to be a pickup or whatever? Yeah. At the moment, right? You remember that quote by Conte saying that all the players were selfish and they're all playing for each other and this, that, the other. I think the song going on in the dressing room at the moment is "Pick me up before you go, because I am planning on going solo." That's what they're probably saying, yeah, because none of them are gonna. But going forward, did you say the plan going forward? Yeah, there's
Is
no
there
plan.
a plan? That's what I'm saying. Plan. There is no plan.
Listen, the chairman's wasn't even in the country to watch Tottenham play the last couple of games. He doesn't care. All he was bothered about is putting the prices up by 11%, which thankfully is not going up. He doesn't care. Now they say Nagelsmann, he's always been after Nagelsmann. We've had good talks. He doesn't know himself because, like you said, Sam, everybody doesn't want the job. They're turning away from the job. Yeah, they're doing a Craig David and they're all walking away with troubles in their mind. They're turning away because they don't want the job. Now I've heard that the players we were linked with are thinking twice about coming to Spurs next season because of the mess that we're in. Daniel Levy's got the best thing he could have done, which was get Mason and Stellini, because he didn't sack Stellini and the rest of them, so he's sticking with them because he don't want to pay them. Interim managers is not going to happen. I know Chelsea are apparently going to get Frank Lampard till the end of the season, and Enrique or whatever is apparently agreed. I don't know, whatever. But the problem we've got is Levy wants us to end up in this top four. He wants that £34 million. That's his prime sole priority. Get into the Champions League at all costs because I want £34 million. I'm not bothered about the £3 million from the FA Cup. I want Champions League football. Stellini's not going to provide that because if you look at what's happening at the moment, Newcastle are winning, so they're going clear of us with a game in hand. Man United, I don't know what's going on with them. We've got Brighton on Saturday. If Brighton beat us, they close the gap. So we're going further and further away. And forget your 34 million. We might not even get European football next season because of that idiot upstairs who could have organised anything. He's just ruining this club. And I don't even think an interim manager, who is there that's going to come? People are saying Harry Redknapp. People are saying bring this guy in, bring that in. Nobody's going to come in because nobody wants to take that job now until the end of the season. They all want their own project. They want to see, and what you've said, Sam, before, what is Tottenham's vision? There isn't anything. And until we're clear with that, is when I still think come end of the season, we're still going to be debating who the next manager is going to be. And like I said to you, Sam, today, we're going to end up with Steve Cooper, with Ryan Mason as his number 2, right? Forget Jedwood. The Deadwood are going to still be in the club. And a championship and a League One defender and a striker is going to come to Spurs because that's what's going to happen to us at the end of the season.
Oof, that's a lot to take in. Pav?
I've got a question for you two. Do you think we should have brought in our manager now to start us off prepping and, getting us this top 4 and prepping for next season? Or do you think we should have, just stuck with a caretaker or interim manager, whatever you want to call it, till the end of the season and then start our looking for our manager?
I'll start first on this one. Okay. Firstly, they obviously they weren't prepared for Conte to do what Conte did with 10 games to go. I think they had thought he's going to get to the end of the season. We're going to limp along regardless of what happens, and we're going to get to the end of the season. They might have probably believed that although they knew that things weren't right, that they could bumble along based on what happened last year with Burnley. We got through them last 10 games. Unfortunately, we were a bad penalty decision as well as a bad performance of Conte not saying what he said. Had Salah not given away that penalty and we won 3-2 at Southampton, he would have been mad, but he would never have said what he said. And we would have probably gone on to this Everton game. Whether or not we'd have won or lost or drawn, I'm not sure whether Conte would have snapped again. But there was a point where he was always going to snap. But I think it was probably going to be the end of the season. So the board weren't prepared. So that's why they've got nobody lined up. What the mistake that I think the biggest mistake is putting Stellini in charge with the same coaching staff that's there. If you're going to keep that coaching staff, you can't have him as the face. You can't. You just can't. It would rather be someone like Brian Mason, who's been there, in and around it, has already taken interim, and at least let him come out as a Spurs player, ex-Spurs player, and we've got a bit more affiliation and a bit more, you know what, all that's Ryan Mason, we don't really want him to be permanent manager. He's one of ours. Stellini's not one of ours. Conte was never one of ours. Conte said so much about the club. If his number two's thinking, hold on a minute, what are you saying that for, boss? Then it shouldn't be his number two. So he's got to be almost in agreement with him. So his same thought processes are what we've now got, which cannot work. So I think we should have just got rid of the whole lot, got Ryan Mason. If we couldn't get our first choice manager in, promote someone like Yaya Toure, Jermaine Defoe, get all them players around, people with a track record. Yaya Toure's got a track record of winning. Jermaine Defoe is one of the leading players at Spurs in terms of almost being a legend. I'll say he's a legend at the club. And these will at least influence the players because they're in and around every day. It's a mess. It's a mess when you've got Stellini in charge and nobody else can come out and say anything. But he's not saying the right things. He's just got this stock talk. And he might even be on WhatsApp with Conte. Now, what do I say? The next press conference, boss? Because that one didn't go too well. What you know what I mean? It don't feel right. It don't feel right. Sorry, it's a bit long.
No.
I had to run.
I think, you know, I agree with you, Sam. I think Mason should have taken over as caretaker. None of them lot, Stellini, all them lot should have gone. Daniel Levy should have just paid them off. I'm sorry, you're sacking the manager, get rid of the whole lot. All of them come as a package. See you later. Give Mason the job, right? And to answer your question, Pav, no manager is going to come in with 10 games to go because what they want to do is they want to come in end of the season, assess the squad, then say, right,
Sid, let me just stop you there. You could get someone in, but it might not be your next permanent manager because Roy Hodgson came in at Crystal Palace. You know, we've had and people have taken, you know what I mean? So that it does, but I agree. Roy Hodgson's probably not going to be the manager of Palace next season. No. And whether or not Ryan Mason will be the next man, I don't know. But yeah, there's that possibility.
So we had Mason. So Mason could have done the job, right? Because it's a free hit now between now and the end of the season. If we get top four, we get top four. If we don't, we don't. A new manager is not want to come in with 10 games to go because knowing our luck, he would have come in with 10 games to go and then end of the season, he would have said, you know what, guys, I'm not having this. I'm gone as well. Pay me. I'm going. Can't be doing with this. So it would. I don't think anybody would have come because they've all said that, didn't they? We don't want to come in now. We want our own project. We want to come at the end of the season. We want to assess what's going on before. And then we know what players are there, what we need to get rid of, stuff like that. I think Mason was the right one until the end of the season, not Stellini. I'm sorry.
That's a major. That is us.
I don't know what. I have just no idea what Daniel Levy's trying to do or what. I don't know what's happening with him, what he's trying to do. But I tell you one thing, Saturday. Oh my word! I'm telling you.
I'm still in two minds. Because I didn't get my. I left it too late to get my ticket onto Ticket Exchange to get it sold. Because where I'm sat, the two seats next to me, or the seats they're all available to be sold. They're not season ticket holders. So I got to put mine on early. That's just an aside note. But what I was looking at was, am I still going to go and watch them play against Brighton? Now, as a Spurs fan, I want to watch Spurs play every game. As a fan, I want to watch every game they play. Lately, it's been tough to watch them. All season it's been hard. All season it's been hard. I don't know why I said lately. But always in the back of my head, I've got this, if the players turn up at home and we just stay with them and I keep doing that. Oh, we could. And then I get to the game and I see this lineup and then it's like, me and you said, we always do it. Here we go. It's going to be one of these again. He's at right back, or he's at right full back, or wing back, or whatever it is. Oh, we got him. And it's like that. It's never right. Oh yeah, come on. Son starting games at the moment is just not right. Whatever. Why he's starting, I'm not sure. Whether it's contractual, I don't know. But he should not be starting games. Richarlison's now out injured. I don't know how long for. Whatever Danjuma's done, whatever Danjuma did to Conte, whatever Danjuma's done to Stellini, whatever he's done to anybody at Spurs, I feel sorry for him. Because he had the opportunity to go to Everton and he would have been playing regularly to keep them up. And now he's sat here doing nothing.
And the worst thing was, Sam, he's fully fit since we've got him. Yet he brings on Mora.
Won it up, by the way, sorry.
And he brings on Mora, which I just could not understand. You know, but there's something wrong. I think I agree with you. There's something not right with Danjuma. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. And if he doesn't even get any time on Saturday as well, man might as well just pack his bags and go, because I don't understand it. Honestly, I just don't know what's going on. And I read somewhere, I don't know where it was one of the groups, somebody said, who are Spurs now going to, now that Mora's got sent off on Monday, who are Spurs going to bring in so that Danjuma can't play? And I'm like, who they're going to bring into the spot so Danjuma can't play?
Well, they've already brought them youngsters in. Is it Mundo?
Mundell and yeah.
So he'll probably get a game before Danjuma.
Again, this is what I keep saying. We got youngsters. You bring them into the squad as numbers. You don't even give them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Bring them on. Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, everyone does it. They gamble on these youngsters. We are not doing it. And that's why I don't understand. Some of these youngsters now, are they going to do any worse than what we've got? Hell no. Put them in. Young blood, up for it, wearing the shirt for the first time, in front of the crowd. Man, they'd be up for it. You know what I mean? Better than 90% of them players at the moment who give absolutely nothing.
Well said. We've got a fairly, if you take out the top echelon of like the Lloris, the Forsters, I guess Kane, Son, take those players out. You look at Perisic as well. We've got a relatively young squad in a sense. Now, whether they're the right players, I'm not sure. But if you think about Spencer's gone out on loan, with Deji coming in, you know, Emerson Rule's only 23, 24, relatively young. If we're talking youngsters, we've got to probably give it two categories. Those under 20 and those are above between 20 and 23 sort of thing. So I look at 20 to 23 being young, but experienced. Those who like 17 to 20, you know, you like your Jude Bellinghams, you just burst onto the scene and stuff like that. Those are the players that you want to see given an opportunity, whether or not they're ready or not. But then you think about like what Arsenal have done. They took the risk and they just kept on playing these players. Now their level of quality is probably look different to us, but we don't know some of the quality levels of some of these youngsters because we ain't seen them. I don't know what Spence could do other than what he did for Forest and Middlesbrough because we never saw him at Spurs. He didn't even get a half. He didn't get a half. 45 minutes. Can you believe? And this is why I'm just trying to think. Well, what is it that we actually want for next season? People are saying, "Oh, we want top four now, so we can get this manager in." What manager? Without the vision, without the strategy, without a philosophy, without knowing who the manager wants, as opposed to you just buying the players for some. I just can't see how it can work. So who's going to come in and take over that? Who's your favorite? Who do you want, and who do you think will get? That's a two-part question there. Who's your favorite, and who do you actually think will get? Who do you want? Sid, you go for it. Go on, Pav. Go on, Pav. We're wrapping up.
Favorite Nagelsmann, but I just have a feeling he's going to go to Chelsea. And then who I think we're going to get? Either Potter or Rodgers.
Spot on. I think we'll get Potters or Rodgers. I agree with you. Forget the Nagelsmann thing. Forget this Luis Enrique. As Mike said, it could have been mine. We'll get Julio Iglesias. or whoever it was, because you ain't getting anybody with that sounding name, Luis Enrique, Julio. You're not getting them people. Forget that. Who else is on the market available? Possibly Sam Allardyce is out there, I guess. Alan Kirbishley, you know what I mean? He's still knocking about, you know what I mean? But I really, and truly, jokes aside, I think it'll be I think it'll be Rodgers or Potter. Both of them been burnt, and I don't know how I don't. Sid, who do you want, and who do you think we'll get?
Well, PSG now apparently are looking at Nagelsmann because they're looking at getting rid of their boss. Who do I want? I want a manager that's going to come into the club with some balls and have the bottle to take Levy on. Simple. I don't care who he is. I want someone to come in there with balls, a vision, and balls, basically. To get rid of the deadwood, right? And try and bring some stuff back to Spurs. Who we're going to end up with? Brendan Rodgers, I think. I don't want it. I don't want him. A lot of people don't want him. But
it's nailed on. I'm telling you, it's nailed on.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers will jump at the chance of getting into Spurs, having been at Leicester and having done what he's done. He was at Leicester for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he's all right. What I will say about Brendan Rodgers is I hated playing against him whenever we was as Spurs, because tactically he knows the game. He really does. There's not many coaches better tactically than him. He's learnt a lot, and you can see all of that in his way he plays. His problem is, I think sometimes he thinks he's better than he is. Sometimes he just does some wild stuff, and then after 2, 3, 4 years, as with any sort of cycle, it's almost like a Klopp cycle. You've done so much, but these players can't take any more from you. And that sort of scenario doesn't sit well with me, given the likes of players that we've got, because it doesn't take them 18 months before they get pissed off with a manager working them too hard or doing this. So Rodgers coming in, and his mentality as well, he can't cross the line. He did it in Scotland, but when he was in Liverpool, he dropped off. He's done the same thing here. He's not got across the line. So again, we're not bringing in someone who's proven mentality monster, as Klopp would say. Yeah, he did it in Scotland. I reckon I could win with Celtic or Rangers in Scotland, and I'm not lying. I reckon I could, because it's things to do, and maybe being a bit, but it's not that hard if you're any decent level of manager. I don't know what's going to happen if we get Poch back.
Favourite, like we said, who's going to get it? But let's add one more to that. Who do we want to get it, right? And I'm going to throw a name out there, and I think, okay, yes, he's only just started as a manager, but he's doing bits, and he's learnt the Pep way. He's won. I know what you're going to say. He's won cups. He's got the balls to tell people, say it how it is. Bring him to the club, Vincent Kompany, and get Vertonghen
100%.
or somebody, or Vertonghen or whatever, to come as his sidekick or something like that. Young manager, upcoming manager, is not going to take no shit. Yeah, no number ones, no number twos. He ain't going to take none of that crap. He's his own man. And the most important thing, he's a bloody winner.
Vincent Kompany, I've been shouting for it since I've seen what he's been doing at Burnley, and then afterwards, even more so when I see how he ripped into some of these players. That told me everything I need to know about his mentality. I obviously know about his mentality from being City captain anyway, and you've got to be some player to be City captain for the length of time he was and to do what he did, because he pulled some of them players through.
Exactly.
And I reckon he could do the same with us, but would he be allowed to have that license to do that? Would the players then say, "Oh, I don't like this," and then start moaning to Dan Levy, and Dan Levy starts to go, "Oh no, it's too much. We've got to get rid of you," or do they say, "You're in charge, and we're sticking with you for the length of time it takes for you to get the club right"? That's the only way it's going to work. We can't hire him for 5 years and sack him after 18 months.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only Chelsea can do that.
Only Chelsea can do that. Pav. Who would you? So you say Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann would be your first choice, but let's look at the Nagelsmann thing, because I don't think he's coming to Spurs. Realistically, though,
so.
I think we realistically could get Vincent Kompany. I realistically think we could. Whether or not we do is a different matter, but we could, because Burnley, in comparison to what Spurs is different. But he might see a project there. This is why we have to have a vision. If we painted this, we're going to go for youngsters, we're going to go for players of this ilk, we're going to try and do this, and he can see that, I can buy into that. But nobody can see what to buy into.
That's the thing, though. I think that in order to attract a manager, we need to have a project. We need to have some sort of vision for what we want to achieve. And at the moment, we don't. And that's why I genuinely think that it's going to be hard to get who we want in, because we look lost as a club. We don't look like we know what we want. Our end goal is to get the trophies, but it doesn't look like that at all. Genuinely, it just looks like we as a club just want to achieve top 4, and that is it. In Levy's eyes, that is it.
It looks and appears. So we've done a numbers thing. We've looked at the numbers, and I think Sid pointed out the first time, to win the FA Cup was something like 3.4 million total. To get into Champions League, just to get top 4, is 30 odd million. It's a no-brainer. It really is. It's just absolute no-brainer when you look at it like that and think, what are the club doing? Why are the club not going for this? And it dawned on me with the Sheffield United defeat this season, a game where we should have effing won. Look where we would have been in that FA Cup now. Oh, it really balls my. I'm not going to say the word, but it does ball it. Sid, I know we're going to wrap up soon, so I'm going to get some final thoughts from you. The actual show itself today, which we've done, and well done. We've done well to not rant too much. I've tried, but I'm sorry if I have ranted, because I know I have. Stellini gets top 4. Now, I'll answer this firstly. Stellini gets us top 4 by leaving his position, and we get somebody in like Vincent Kompany for the last 10 games. That's the only way Stellini can get us top 4. If he stays in charge till the end of this season, I can't see it. I can't see it, because I don't see how the players can play like they did against Everton in 30 minutes. The worst performance against 10 men that I've seen from a Tottenham team. I remember Man City. Good grief. Man City 3-0 up and lost 4-3. So we've had some bad ones. Oh my God. We've had some bad ones. But in general terms, that was not a game that we should have ever drawn. So yes, Stellini, in order for us to get top 4, see you later. Pav.
You summed it up.
Top 4.
You summed it up. Out the door, mate. Goodbye. But I don't think we're going to get top 4. And this is positive Pav saying this, but I don't think we're going to get top 4, mates. No, not going to happen. He is Conte's puppy. That's what he is. I don't think he's going to change. But if I was to look on a positive light, I'd say, change your tactics. None of this Conte ball. Just have a chat with the players. Get on their backs. But no, I don't think it's going to happen.
The bit about tactics, I agree 100%. If he could at least show some balls in that, I might give him a little bit of a chance. But if he comes on in a press conference and does this whole look into the side, and I can see the whites of his eyes doing all of this, and he starts telling me, we're going to take it each game at a time, and it's all about I'm going to just... Sid, how does he do it?
So when Conte got sacked, Daniel Levy left the boardroom and he went downstairs, and he must have seen, and he just was gone, I believe in miracles. Where are you from? You sexy fiend. And Stellini must have walked in and said, there you go. There's my miracle. But we're not getting top 4. I'm sorry. There's nothing he can do for us to get top 4. There's nothing, because you know what? He hasn't got the balls to change it. He promises the world, and he's not delivering nothing. I don't think the players are bothered, to be fair. He can do as much as he wants. I think it's the players' mentality. It's shot to pieces. They're done. They're finished. They're booking their holidays for the summer now, or they're booking their places, other clubs or whatever. It's not going to happen, because there's teams better than us, playing better than us, with games in hand, right? are just seeing what we're doing, capitulating. Everton, Southampton, Leicester's, Wolves, all them games that we should have won away, and we've not come away with anything. Winning 3-1 against a team that's bottom of the club league, and you're throwing it away to 3-3. 90th minute against Everton. There's just nothing there. So I've not even thought about top four, man. All I'm saying is, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, not next week, the weekend after, where we've a week of Newcastle, Liverpool, and Manchester United. And that's when I said that is going to be finding top four. I think it's going to be done by Saturday, to be fair. If we lose to Brighton, I think that's it. I think it's done. Because what it is, certain teams you can see, you lose, but you get back and you sit, you get down and you get back up again. And you go again. But with us, we go down and we're staying down. We're not fighting. The referee's there going 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Other teams are getting up. We're just lying on the floor. Count me out. Count me out. Count me out. Done. So.
Yeah, it is. If you look at us as a boxing analogy, we look good. We know what I mean. We do all this and we're showboating around. As soon as we get hit in the mouth, that's what we do. As soon as we get hit in the face, we crumble. You can't be a boxer and not want to get hit. It's like you can't be a footballer and not expect to have pressure. It don't make no sense. You can't not be a professional footballer in the Premier League and not expect to play under pressure. It doesn't make sense. If you're battling for relegation, if you're battling to win stuff, even if you're in the middle, you want to try and, because it's still prize money. And when Conte said that, he said these players just want to it really did me something, because I would have given everything to be a pro footballer, everything, and I really did, and I didn't. So it just shows you when you're in that position, all you've got to do is make the effort. Show us that you're making the effort to desire. I don't want to see players. And Lloris are coming and go, oh, that's another. Oh, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. There's even Clark. If you really want to be depressed, then set on Brendan Rodgers, and then you will know depression. Don't forget, I live in Leicester and I know that clown, and that's coming from someone who knows him. And Paratici's about to have the doping ban again. Yeah, another thing we didn't even really touch on. The who's looking for our manager? Who's looking for our players? We don't even know that. Do you think we're cursed? Yep. Yes. Darius 3K said that a long time ago. We are a cursed club.
Because the person running it is cursed. He's the curse.
We have something over us that we just cannot get rid of. And until I think that face goes, I think that's until that point. Yeah, there's some things in life that you can't understand, but I'm beginning to understand this one. Right, guys, that's it. Almost 9 o'clock. Perfect timing for Sid ending Ramadan. Perfect timing for me because I felt like I need to end my Ramadan of sorts because I'm starving anyway. And Pav, thank you for coming on, because it's been a pleasure having you on. PvP, positive vibes. Pav, you got to try and do this more. Give us these positive vibes, because otherwise it's going to be a long 9 games. It's going to be a long 9 games. Look, did you see Stellini on the touchline screaming at players to get 20 yards further up the pitch? No, he didn't. So it's on him and Mason.
Actually, do you know what? Mason apparently was going mental at Stellini and the players. I think Stellini wasn't doing anything, but apparently Mason was going mental at both Stellini and the players. So I think Mason's got something in his heart. He actually wants it.
That's why I said he should have been interim. That I know he's not my choice as manager, but I've seen him do. He can get his mates to play. He can get his mates to play. That's what we need now. Remove the cancel call levy. Well, we're just gonna have to move on, lads and lasses. Pav, Sid, it's been a pleasure. I'm trying to find the music to get us out with. Have we got Sank in here? What have we got here?
We've got it, man.
What have we got? I'm trying to find a little thing. No, I need to go. Oh no, I'm gonna go to. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong area. This one, I like this bang. It's wicked. It's cold, in fact. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you, Sid. And we're going to be at